All right, well, this story is from the time that I was on Lesbos working as a coordinator for YWAM there while we were working in the refugee crisis. And you probably know, like Lesbos has been the island where most of the refugees, about 50% of the refugees that arrived through the Greek islands have been coming through. And while being there, of course, really ministering and working and helping in the camps with the refugees. While being there, like God really started opening my eyes that the impact of the refugee crisis was just going way beyond just impacting the lives of people fleeing their countries, but actually this island of Lesbos is a place that was being scarred by everything that was happening and the events that were happening there. And I started realizing that even though the international community had started to respond in the recent months, the trauma and the tragedy of boats of people coming in, fleeing their countries, people drowning, people washing up on the beaches, that had actually been a story that has been happening a lot more on the island than I realized. And I think it was through that I started to see this island and the local population through a different filter. I was located and I was living in a small village called Molivos in the north of the island. And multiple times a week, if I would go to the town, there's like one main street where there's a couple of shops and there's a gyros place where you pick up your food. And there was this middle-aged couple with young kids, and they run this little grocery store, and they were a very gentle couple, very soft-spoken, very warm, very friendly, spoke English. And I just developed a bit of relationship with them as I went there and did my daily shopping. And particularly the woman, the wife, I could just see every time I went to the shop that she was carrying a sense of pain in her eyes. This pain that you can kind of see in someone's face when they haven't been hurting for like a day or a week, but it's something that's been wearing on them for a number of months. And so I could see that in her, and I think just at different times I was having conversation with her. Different times I was doing my shopping, she would ask me about my work in the refugee camps. But I would also ask her, and she would share stories about how she was experiencing it as a local. And one of the things that really stood out to me and that really struck me was that she was sharing with me that she has a young daughter, and on Sundays when their shop is closed, she used to take her daughter to the beach in town to look for nice stones and nice rocks to bring home, as a mom wants to do with her daughter, right, on a beautiful Greek island. And she said it to me almost with her eyes tearing up that with everything that had been unfolding on Lesbos and the impact that it had on the island, had made it that she could not go out with her daughter anymore to look for stones on the beach because she was afraid that a dead body would wash up. And that just really, I think, brought the reality home for me, just how scarred the local population is and the trauma that they've been living through for months and years. That even just simple things like taking out your children has become a matter where you can be confronted with things that most of us will not even see in our lives. The body of an adult or a child that has drowned while fleeing a war-torn country, washing up on the shores of the beautiful sea that you live close to. And so that was something that really impacted me. And I can share the part as well. Like, yeah, the story continued to unfold. And so I would meet her and she would share things with me, and there was a bit of a friendship that started to develop there. And right before I left, after about 12 weeks of serving on the island there was a moment that I walked into their store one evening, and she had talked to a fellow YWAMer who I was in the shop with. And then I came at the checkout counter, and she just looks at me. She looks me straight in the eye, and she says, "You have to tell me." And I thought, like, is she joking? Is she pulling a prank on me? Like, she's a friend? She's like, "You have to tell me what it is. Like, is it something you put in your breakfast? Is it a vitamin you take? Do you work out a lot? What is your secret? There's something different about you, and there's a joy in your life, and there's a friendliness and a kindness that whenever you walk into the shop here, I see it, and you have to tell me what is your secret." And I remember I was shocked by this such a direct opportunity to share God and to share the gospel. And so I kind of like leaned back and I put my hands in the air, and I exclaimed, I was like, "It's God." And I just anticipated that she was going to maybe be a bit skeptical or shut down. But actually she started asking questions, and she was really curious, and she started offloading some of the pain that she was carrying in her heart. And it was just a very unique experience. And an interesting thing was, like, I remained there for like 20, 30 minutes at the checkout counter with my groceries as she was helping other people pay and process without shame. She was just asking about God and about Jesus, and she was asking questions. I was able to really share the redemptive power of the gospel with her. And yeah, just so thankful for that opportunity, and for God showing me that beyond just the refugees being victims within a refugee crisis, actually local people and are very scarred and are very touched and moved by the refugee crisis, and are often also the ones that, before the international community starts to respond, have really been impacted and have put their own lives on the line to serve and to help out these people. And so I've developed a deep respect for this couple and a deep respect for the local population of the island of Lesbos.